what you see. Oh, fooled by the thoughts that I got. I'm still dreaming of love. Used to have a little, now I have a lot. No matter where I know where I came from.
Hey guys, this is Venom with Exiled Existence, and today I'm just doing a kind of off the cuff my thoughts on Destiny. I'm not going to edit any of this. I'm just going to slap it together and put it up. It's not going to be a diary entry, but it's more of my thoughts on the Destiny 2 hype so far. So first and foremost, let me start off with saying I am extremely excited about Destiny 2. I've been combing over the research and the videos, the tweets, the links, all the information that's been coming out this last couple of days, and I've still got a whole weekend to go. I've been going over all this stuff, and everyone's really excited in the community. Even people who aren't really hardcore Destiny fans have seen, the Destiny stuff that's been coming out. People are getting interested. You've got haters and supporters on both sides, and I figured I'd go ahead and put in my 2 cents. Obviously, since I'm covering it, I'm going in extreme depth with all the features that are coming out. I'm a fan of it. I can't wait for it. I've already got it pre-ordered. I'm sure people have a problem with me even saying the words pre-order, but we'll get into that here in a little bit. But I kind of want to go over a couple of my thoughts. And thought number one, and this is something I always have to wonder with a pre-order, is this game going to be good? I understand that pre-orders have kind of screwed up the industry a little bit. I've kind of got iffy thoughts on that. I think with certain companies, they've earned the right to do pre-orders. I wouldn't say Destiny as an IP has, but since I'm covering it, it would be kind of foolish not to. I mean, part of my job, or this channel, is covering Destiny. It's a huge game. So, of course, I've got to pre-order it for that. But as far as games in general, I've had real hit and misses with pre-orders, and I don't pre-order games anymore unless it's, again, A, for this channel, because I have to, or B, if it's a game that I feel has actually earned that pre-order right. My pre-order history started off with Diablo 3. Crashed and burned, obviously, when it first came out. I was there, pre-ordered it there midnight, got the game, tried to log on, had all the issues, finally got on, beat the thing in 2 days, was totally disappointed in it. My next pre-order was Fallout 4. That one turned out pretty good, obviously. Well, and I say obvious, some people complained about, the new way power armor worked, but it was usually minor complaints. Fallout 4 was a huge success. My favorite Fallout game so far. Mods are still coming out for it. It was a great one. My next pre-order was No Man's Sky. Anyone who knows anything about gaming knows what a disaster No Man's Sky turned out to be on launch. I've still got the game. I'm still playing it. And the company, Hello Games, is actually taking strides to unfuck themselves. So I've given them props on that one. I know they're still coming out with more stuff for it, so I'm giving them props for fixing it. I think they've learned from their mistake because they are going back and fixing it. They haven't charged us for these huge updates that are coming out. There's another one coming out soon, we're suspecting. In fact, I'd say there's a 99% chance it's coming out. And it's probably going to have some more awesome features. But again, my pre-order history is spotty at best. Diablo and, No Man's Sky. 66% of the times that I pre-order so far, it's gone terrible. But I've gone ahead and got Destiny. The concerns I have are the story and how much content's going to be in the game. Now, they said they had to switch to a new engine, basically. That's why they had to make a whole new game. It was too hard to develop stuff for Destiny 1. Okay, fine. I get that. I'm still concerned that they may have the same problem they had when Destiny first came out. Keep in mind, when I started playing Destiny, I picked it up when the Taken King came out. I wasn't one of the day one players. Mainly because I didn't have a console or a PC back then. I didn't really have much except for handheld games back then. I know it went on PC. I'm aware of that. I'm just saying I didn't have anything to play any, AAA games on, say for like Pokemon or whatever came out on, PSP at the time. So I picked it up when Taken King came out. It was like $60, with Taken King and everything that came before it. It was a good game. I liked it. I didn't have any of that day one issues that a lot of people have when they picked it up. Now, the concern I'm having is community hype. Again, don't get me wrong. I liked the trailers they released. They were funny. We finally got some gameplay trailers. There was a huge thing about it. I liked the gameplay I saw. The reports coming in is that the gameplay, as far as, the actual shooting aspect, how everything works, is mostly unchanged, which is good because Destiny as a shooter worked just fine. We're going to have new powers and abilities. That's fine. We were expecting that. But overall, the basic gameplay is the same, which is what we want. The gameplay is good. I like the way it works. Obviously, some rebalancing of some powers and some weapons. That's great. We get new stuff. Overall, the core gameplay works. The concern is the community hype and the initial content. We know there's DLC coming out for it. A thought on that real quick. A big issue that a lot of people seem to have when playing Destiny 1 was how much DLC cost when it came out. I will dispute the price of the DLC. I think it was fine because of what it was. Destiny is not just a first-person shooter, it's a first-person shooter MMO. It's hardly the first one of its kind, but MMOs in general, the price for the DLC and the content is usually between 20 to, in some cases, up to $60. I mean, you get a WoW expansion, look how much that costs, but it also comes with a lot of content. Just looking at what all came into Taken King, I forgot how much it costs, but getting it and the entire game only cost me $60 when it came out. Now, Rise of Iron, I forgot how much it cost, but it wasn't that much considering it was, again, an expansion. And expansions and MMOs usually cost a bit of money. People don't like that, I get it. It's whatever. MMO community, they didn't like the grind of trying to get some of the gear, trying to get some of the weapons and armor and stuff. Again, that's fine if you're not used to that. The MMO community was kind of like, well, this is what we're used to. It's what we expected, so. But as far as the hype and the pre-orders, again, people who cover Destiny or games for a living, you essentially have to get the pre-order. You have to buy the game. You got to get as much content as you can out of it, even if it's like pre-order stuff that's like an extra weapon or something stupid, because you have to cover it. You can't really cover it if you don't have it. People outside industry, and again, I wholly admit I am new on the block. I've got like 41 subscribers as of recording this, but I'm still starting this up as a business, so I mean, I have to get it. But as far as the community as a whole, yeah, pre-orders are an issue, and I don't think that Destiny as an IP has actually earned the right to really do pre-orders. If I had my wish, if I had my way, only certain games would be able to pre-order. Games like Call of Duty, even though I may not like it, and I think the IP has been used to hell and back. I mean, there's another one every year, and it's pretty much the same reskin, just for newer weapons, and now they're in space. And then they've gone back to, older wars. It's whatever. But people like it for what it is, so people know what they're going to get with it. They're usually okay with it. They get it mainly for the online stuff. Fine, I think they've earned that right, even if you don't like the game. It's got a huge enough community. As long as they keep the core gameplay that they like and that the community likes, it's whatever. They can do it. Other IPs that I say deserve pre-order rights or privileges, I should say. Any Elder Scrolls game and any Fallout game. Now, whether you like those games or not, they are huge games. The people that like them absolutely love them. I'd say for that community, pre-orders are fine. Bethesda usually does us pretty good, and they're usually pretty good with their fans. I mean, Skyrim and Fallout 4 have quickly become some of the most top-minded games, and even the rest of the games in the Elder Scrolls series, or at least, Morrowind and Oblivion, as well as Fallout 3 and New Vegas, are some of the most modded games in history. So, I mean, huge communities for that. Bethesda's fairly good with their community as far as, updates and how they treat their fan-made projects. Yeah, they've had a couple of issues or a couple of black spots on the record. Yeah, there's some gray area there. A couple of projects were kind of directly indicating they were tied with them. There's some gray area there, but for the most part, no problem. And the games are, in my opinion, always awesome when they come out. Huge, tons of content. Yeah, there's always a running joke that anything Bethesda puts out is going to be buggy as crap, but when you're designing games that huge, it's to be expected, and they usually work out. And again, a great community. They let people mod the games. They encourage modding, in fact. So I think Bethesda's definitely earned, pre-order rights. So my concern is that community hype with Destiny might be pretty big, and it is a community hyping up the game right now. Again, all that, Bungie has really put out has been, a couple of cinematic trailers up until a couple days ago, and the hype has been huge for the game. And the last 24 hours, 48 hours, it's, off the scale right now for that community. So, again, these are just some thoughts of mine. Again, from what I've seen, and from the history of Destiny, I think it's going to be good. I think they may have learned from some of their mistakes. The initial reports coming in is that the first strike they play, the Inverted Spire, is pretty good. The campaign, they say, the first campaign they got to play, they say it's, amazing. They're liking it. Same thing to PvP. There's been a lot of rebalancing of powers and weapons and PvP and the modes. Or actually, they've only got one mode they're allowed to play. I think it's called Countdown. I mean, I'm optimistic, but I'd still say, for the most part, and see, here's where I become torn. I want to say I wouldn't recommend pre-ordering it yet. However, one, having pre-ordered it myself, whether it's for the business or not, I can never really say don't pre-order it. I just feel that the company so far hasn't really earned that right. That's just me. Again, hypocritical here. I did pre-order it. And the other thing is, we keep falling victim to the pre-order bonuses. This is where I do have an issue. It's one thing to pre-order the game, go ahead and get the payment out of the way, pay for it now where you got the money, because when the day comes out, copies may not be there, or there may be issues downloading it. Anything could happen, and you may have had a cataclysmic thing happening. You may have been in an earthquake, lost everything, or just don't have the money to buy it when it comes out. So it makes sense to kind of go ahead and pay for it and get it out of the way, so when it comes out, boom, you got it. The issue I have is just with pre-order DLC or pre-order bonuses. Now, we are getting some pre-order stuff here with the Digital Deluxe. I think it's like a sword and some other crap, and we, of course, get access to the beta. I don't think the beta should have been a paid thing, but that may end up being a whole other video itself once the beta comes out and I cover it. But my main concerns right now are just community hype. I don't want to fall into, and I don't want to see the community fall into what happened with No Man's Sky, because I was right there with it. I was overly hyped for No Man's Sky. I could not wait. I was defending it left and right. And you know what? Even when the game came out, before I even really noticed anything was wrong, I'd already had 100 hours in the game before I kind of hit a wall, and I was like, well, I got my max ship now. Now what do? I just keep traveling. Now, keep in mind, this before the Foundation and Pathfinder updates came out, but once I got bored, I was one of those weird people that I actually legitimately enjoyed the game for like 60 to 100 hours, non-stop. I took off for work to play the game. But once I did get bored, I mean, it was a brick wall. I was like, why am I playing anymore? There's nothing else for me to do. So I don't want to see the Destiny community fall into that. I'm not saying it will, but I am saying that we should still be cautiously optimistic. Keep in mind, I'm saying this, and I'm still going to be putting out videos like crazy about this, so I'm still excited for the game. But in the back of my head, I'm still thinking, don't get too far into it, and look at every leak, look at everything, under the lens of, well, is this really what we're going to get? Or are we being lied to? I mean, actual gameplay stuff that's even coming out now, it's just a build of the game. It's not necessarily even what's going to be in the game. I mean, yeah, when we know we're going to have like the Dawn Blade and these powers are going to be in the game, but they may not work, or they may be tweaked when the actual game comes out, so you never know. But like I said, that's just my thoughts of the game. These are things that I kind of have to think about while I'm making these videos and reading through the tweets and reading through the community. A lot of people, don't pay attention to gaming news as much as, the rest of us do. That's fine. I mean, game at your own pace. You don't have to go balls deep into the whole community. If you just see a game you like, do whatever. But for those of us that do, we pay attention to stuff like the No Man's Sky debacle, or the Diablo 3 debacle when it came out, or any of these other issues that come along with pre-orders and the community in general right now. So just kind of curb your optimism, still be excited, but I'll take everything with kind of a grain of salt until the day the game comes out, or at least until the rest of us can get to the beta as well. It's one thing when you're a select few people who, or actually look like a couple hundred people, they got to go to LA to play the game early, long before the beta. You kind of have that forced excitement. You're excited to be there regardless, so whatever you get to see that nobody else gets to see, it's going to seem awesome. So let's kind of curb our enthusiasm a little bit until the beta comes out. That's not to say we can't be excited or that we shouldn't still cover it, because we're all going to, and I suggest we do. I'm just saying, let's not fall into the self-hype train that we've had with a few other games. So, like I said, I'm Venom. This is We Have Land Entertainment. These are just my thoughts on Destiny 2 so far. Please like and subscribe. It helps us out. Thank you for coming, and we'll see you later.
Yo!